Hi, everyone. I hear from a lot of you that you really struggle with finding time to write, and that it's one of the biggest things that's holding you back from writing your book. That you can't seem to make progress, or other things just come up, and you get busy and you don't write your book. And believe me, I get it. I've been there. My book, Blogger to Author, came out a year after I originally intended it to come out. And that's because of many of those things. I got busy. I moved across the country. I had a baby. And I had a lot of other things come up in my business as well, so that I just didn't have enough time to write the book, or that's the way I felt. So today I want to give you 3 tips to help you find more time to write your book so that you can actually get it out into the hands of your readers who need it. So, hi, I'm Dr. Beth Brombos of Blogger to Author. I'm a best-selling author, and I've helped other bloggers to do the same thing that I have with many of my books, which is take the content that they've already created and put that into a book that they can create pretty quickly. But I know that there are those of you also who may not have a lot written already, or you may just need to create some new content for your book, and you might not have a lot of time to sit down and actually do that writing. So I want to, again, today give you some tips to help you out with that. And some of these are inspired by a program that I participated in last summer, the 90-Day Year with Todd Herman. I'm headed to that live event later this month, and so a little bit of this was inspired by that as well. But the first thing I would encourage you to do if you feel like you don't have enough time to write your book is to take a full inventory of how you're currently spending your time. So I'm a firm believer that if something is important enough to you, that you will find time to do it. And that, again, comes from experience writing Blogger to Author. Like I mentioned in my little intro, it was something that I had been wanting to do, but I let it slide down my priority list. And I finally had to get serious with myself and say, okay, is this something that I really want to do? And eventually it was, yes, absolutely. This is something that I need to do if I'm going to be serious about getting this message out to other bloggers about how really the system I teach and how it can be easier to put together a book than you think. So I knew that I needed to, and it was partially that mindset switch that helped me get the book done. But tying that back to my point that when you go back and you look at how you're currently spending your time, it gives you an idea of how you are prioritizing your time and what you are prioritizing. So I would encourage you to take a couple days or maybe even a week and keep a note of how you're spending your time. So it's easy to forget to do this. What has helped me is to even set an alarm on my phone, like to go off every hour. And then what I'll do is just keep a piece of scratch paper or whatever by my side, and I'll write out exactly what I spent my hour doing. And if I can break it up a little bit more, like, oh, I spent 10 minutes just scrolling through my Facebook feed, and I spent 15 minutes kind of looking through my email, not doing much, that sort of thing. If I can ballpark it, that gives me a better idea of, again, how I'm spending my time. And that gives me an idea of really what I'm saying is important by how I'm spending my time. Because we can say that something is important until we're blue in the face, but until we actually follow through and act on it, it's not really important. So my hope is that if you take the time to catalog exactly how you're spending your time, that will give you a good idea of what is a priority to you actually in how you're spending your day. And I'm hoping that as well, it will give you an idea of what might be able to go, and that you could replace that with some time working on your book. So that's the first thing I want you to think about. The second thing I want you to think about is figuring out how you can work more efficiently with the time you do have, because I understand that your time is finite, that you're really busy, that you have a lot of other things going on, and so that you probably don't. In fact, I can almost guarantee you don't have hours to spend writing your book every single day. So if you do have half an hour a couple times a week, or if you've worked it out so that you can go spend some like 2 hours specifically on your book on Saturday morning, for example, how are you going to make the most of that time? Because you could sort of sit there and flounder and waffle and not really make the most of your time, or you could work really efficiently and get a lot of writing done. And so what I would encourage you to do to work more efficiently is to plan out the time that you have. And a lot of that comes from having a plan for your book. And this is why I coach all of my clients and followers to create a detailed plan for their book before they even get started. Because when you sit down at your computer and you know that you have to write a chapter on basket weaving, and you know that you need to talk about different types of wood that you can use to weave your baskets, and which maybe types of wood are the best for which size of basket, that sort of thing. When you have that detailed list of all of the things you need to address in the section you're writing, it's going to make your writing time much more focused, and you'll be able to write more words in that amount of time. So again, because we are so busy, it's about being more efficient with the time we do have, and having a plan for that is key. If you need help creating a plan for your book, definitely check out my book mapping sessions. I sit down on a 1-hour video call with you, and we sit down together and we create that detailed plan for your book, and you can learn more about that at bloggertoauthor.com/services. That also ties into the third point that I'd like to make, and that's don't be afraid to hire somebody to help you out. So, for example, if you are a video person, or maybe even you're a blogger, but you do live videos and you have some videos that you'd like to use to co-opt to add additional information or additional content to your book, you could hire out the transcription. And whenever I get a transcript, I absolutely hire it out. I don't do it myself. I send it over to Rev. That's REV as in Victor.com. And they've done a great job for me. I've written blog posts that way. It's been super helpful. So again, I know that I've got limited time, but that I can do more with my time if I hire somebody to do that small chunk. Likewise, if you're really strapped for time, but you know that you need to get your book out as an important part of your business, whether it's your blog as a business or whether you more identify as an entrepreneur who also has a blog as part of your content marketing strategy, it might be time to hire somebody to help you put that together. So that could look like actually somebody going in and taking some of the pieces you have and combining them. Maybe you need to hire a little bit of a ghostwriter. I've definitely done that for clients with their ebooks before. You might need to hire an editor, which can be great. I know my copy editing clients are really eternally grateful because it's something that they don't have the time to do. And then also people, it really benefits to have another fresh set of eyes on your content. And a good copy editor can help you from, figuring out where you could lengthen your book, all the way down to grammar, punctuation, kind of everything in between. So whether you need help really solidifying the content, if you need somebody to help you figure out if the argument you're making, it makes sense, if you're conveying your message well, all the way down to, again, the nitty gritty of just sort of proofreading and making sure that everything's grammatically correct and the spelling is correct and the punctuation is correct. A copy editor can help you with all of those things. And I definitely have done that with my copy editing clients as well. I know that they find that super helpful. And when it comes down to it, you might consider hiring even somebody to design the book for you. I know that a lot of clients come to me because they get stuck with formatting, and either I help them out with my course that I offer, or depending on their budget, I'll actually go in and format the book for them, because it can be a little bit tricky. And yeah, you can DIY it yourself, but sometimes you have to think whether your time is best spent doing other things, and maybe you want to hire somebody out for that piece because it's going to take you way more time to do it yourself than it would, and you could be essentially making more money with that time. So I guess the analogy there would be that if your time is worth $50 an hour, and if it's going to take you 5 hours to format your book, but you can hire somebody to do it for $150, then it's a better use of your time and money to hire somebody to do that part for you than it is for you to try and DIY it and spend a lot of time doing it. So just keep that in mind, and just remember that sometimes the best use of your time is to have somebody else help you out with that. So if you are looking for somebody to help you with those services, definitely get in touch with me. You can learn more about the services I offer at bloggertoauthor.com/services. But I do help from all stages of the process, whether it's planning out your book. I have a couple of packages where I'll do strategy, or we can sit down, create that plan for your book. I do offer ghostwriting services where I can either just write content for you, or I can take the content you have and sort of weave it together so that it makes sense. And those packages are by quote only, just because it varies by essentially how much I charge for that. Depends on how much time I have to spend, and that really depends on how much you have written and how much you need me to fill in. So if you're looking at my services page and you're wondering why I don't have those exact numbers on there, that's why, because it really does vary from book to book. I have some people come in and they've got a lot of content done. They just need everything to kind of flow together, and that doesn't necessarily take as much time. But if you need a lot of writing or possibly a lot of editing, then that will increase the scope of the project. Hopefully that makes sense. I do also offer copy editing services, like I said, at lots of different stages, lots of different levels, kind of depending on your needs. And then all the way to marketing strategy, that sort of thing. I'd be happy to help you out with that as well. So take-home message here: make sure that you are working efficiently, that you are spending your time on the stuff that's important to you. And if you have a lot of things that are important to you, and a book is one of those, but you just simply don't have time in your day to spend on your book, but you know that you need to get it out, consider hiring somebody to help you with part or all of your book so that you can get it into the hands of your readers, so that you can get your message out there, because your message is needed, and so that you can have that book to help you continue to build your business, whether it's by building authority and credibility, whether it's by helping you bring in new clients, new leads, more qualified leads, people who are going to be more likely to invest in what you do, whether it's a program or a service. And then also you'll obviously make a little bit of money, or a lot of it, depending on how many books you sell, from royalties as well. So just keep all of that in mind. If you have any questions about finding more time to write your book, definitely leave them in the comments, and I will see you all soon. Have a great day.